New day, new video. Welcome to Rider Infusion, here to hopefully infuse you guys with some good content. Starting this morning off with a little bit of traffic. Beautiful sunny weather here in Southwest Florida. It is chilly though. It's about 60 degrees right now, 56. Guys, today's video is going to be pretty simple. Not going to be talking about anything specific. We're just going to ride, have fun in the process, and talk about safety, defensive riding. So as I will be seeing things that I think are worthy to talk about, I'll be talking about them, sharing my thought process on why I do what I do when I do. All right, we're passing an intersection here, watching for that blue pickup truck there. Hello, fellow rider. Watching for that pickup truck. Make sure he doesn't pull out in front of us. Always try to get visible in those type situations. It's always good to move a little bit over to the right so that that truck can have a better line of sight with you instead of me being on the left. If I was here on the left, then I would be hiding behind that car that is in front of me. Now, of course, if I maintain a bigger following distance between me and that car in front of me, you know, he'd have a better line of sight of me. But then again, I would be potentially creating a situation in which he would just pull out right after that car and just altogether not see me. This truck ahead of me is a little wide, and you know, I really can't see that far ahead past the truck, so not a good situation to be in. I would always recommend having a good line of sight to what's happening ahead of you, whether it's just road debris, whether it's traffic slowing down fast. Whatever it is, you want to be able to see up ahead. And, you know, you can position yourself however you see fit to position yourself in a lane. Guys, remember, if you're on a motorcycle, you have the entire lane to ride. You're not forced to ride in a particular part of a lane. You can literally ride wherever you want in your lane. Whatever is safer, that's where you ought to ride. And now he's hugging the right side of the lane, so I can't really see him unless I'd be in that bike lane over there, which, you know, in these type of situations, just maintain a little bit of a bigger gap between you and the vehicle in front of you. You know, if you can't really see in front of them, just maintain a little bigger gap, and you'll be good. Also, have your finger resting on your front brake there, just in case. You can go at it, you know, use your front brake, apply if you need to slow down in an emergency type situation. But always good practice to have your index finger resting on your front brake, just so you can go at your brakes if you have to. Now, touching on that front brake, I do want to make it clear that it's something that you have to practice, because what it can create sometimes is that you're riding and a emergency type situation comes up. Whoa, there's like a rod or something on the road. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but my bike actually squiggled a little bit. Dang. But no big deal. It's okay. I was talking to you guys and wasn't really paying attention, I guess. Didn't see it. Saw it on the last second. But be careful with your front brake. You know, you don't want to just go at it and lock up your front wheel or tire and go into a slide. You know, ease into the power of your front brake. You know, don't just grab at it. So practice it. You know, if you have the time, go out somewhere, or if you don't have the time, make the time. If you ride motorcycles, you should make the time for that. But go out and ride and practice, guys. Oh boy, it feels so good to have the sun out. You know, if it was cloudy right now and 60 degrees, like, that'd be a whole different story. But 60 degrees and sun's out, I can deal with this. All right, I'm gonna move out of this right lane, checking my mirrors, making sure that nobody's there, and move on through. You know, something I actually caught or noticed in a comment on one of my previous videos. Someone said, man, you don't turn your head enough and check for your blind spot. Now, my response to that is, I ride a little bit differently from some people in terms of how much I pay attention to what's going on in my mirrors. Even though you guys can't see it, my eyes are glancing at the side mirrors literally all the time. Feels like all the time, especially when I think about it in terms of how often I check my mirrors. It's all the time. I am very, very aware of what traffic is doing around me, who's coming up faster, who's about to pass me, who's changing lanes like this guy. Whatever it is, I'm watching traffic and I'm paying attention to what's going on. So even though I might not always actually physically like turn my head and do this, which I'm actually not a full believer in, there are plenty of videos that I could show of very popular moto vloggers that would ride and then they would do this where they would just turn their head and it's like 2-3 seconds would pass where they have their head turned, they're scanning for what's going on behind them, and they don't freaking know what's going up in front of them. That is sketchy. That is dangerous. If you have good mirrors, and if you're able to really see well out of them, and you know your blind spots on your bike, you should not have to do a full head turn. Now, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do a full head turn. If I'm not 100% confident in whatever cars that are around me, I will turn my head and I will do a quick glance. Woo! Gotta have fun. Gotta have fun on your bikes, man. Even though you want to be safe and all that, still want to have fun. So the occasional throttle twister is okay, guys, I would say. You know, you don't want motorcycling to be boring. You want to have fun. You know, this isn't like standstill traffic where you just have a lot of cars and they're just all together barely moving. This is kind of, I think, one of the worst type of traffic situations where people are moving 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, but they're all kind of bunched up and there's a little space in between them. Like there's a gap in front of this Cadillac that's in front of me, which means all the people that are to the left in that left lane, someone's going to want to move into that right lane because there's a gap. At least eventually they will. So it kind of creates for a dangerous situation in which people are, you know, they're moving around, they're rushing quick. They're not rushing, they're just rushing. But anyways, look how beautiful this is, guys. Woo. Now, a lot of cars to my left. I'm riding on the right side of my lane in the right position. I don't want somebody swerving, changing lanes on me. Even if they do, I have somewhere to go. I have a big wide shoulder. I can slow down, I can accelerate. What's important is that I'm not riding in line with other vehicles, which is actually a response to a comment that I got recently on a video. And that is someone saying that, man, if you're riding further away from these cars, you are in their blind spot. That's not true. Right now, that guy can see me. Even though I'm way out here, I could still see his face. He can see me in his mirrors. Now, if I'm gonna ride in line with him, then yeah, you know, there's a certain spot. Like if I just hover in that spot, yeah, he might not see me. He or she or whoever it is that's driving. So first of all, don't ride in line with other vehicles. Keep moving so that you're never really in anyone's blind spot. And if you are, it's just for a split second, like an actual split second. Oh, that's my thinking. I want to churn into here. This is a place that we used to go out together as a family and go out for walks, whatever, nice park. But then after the hurricane, everything changed. Like those boats sitting there on the grass. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see. But it looks like the whole park's closed down. You know, something I want to point out to new beginner riders, try and stay away from riding in busy areas, busy roads, streets, whatever it is. If you're wanting to get into motorcycling, and just try to find a time in the day, in the week, where there are less cars on the road, so that you'll be more focused on rider controls and just riding your bike well, instead of, just other vehicles. Because I know it can be overwhelming for some people sometimes. As a new rider, it can be overwhelming in terms of, man, there's just so much going on. Not only am I worried about my bike controls, but I'm also worried about all these cars that are around me, and one of them hitting me. Pick a time to ride when it's not so busy. Pick roads that aren't as busy. Like these streets that I'm on right now, like these are very chill streets, very relaxing. There's nothing really going on, which is why I'm gonna go somewhere else, because I need a little more action for y'all. I can't ride these streets and make my safety videos on. I mean, I guess I could talk about various stuff, but better to be showing you guys a live view instead of driving on a boring road, waiting for traffic to pass by. This guy doesn't have his blinker on. Go ahead. I always let people pass like that. If someone's waiting for me, this falls back under my mentality, my thinking of I don't trust anyone on the road. I ride as if I am invisible, as if no one sees me. I ride as if every driver is drunk, intoxicated, high on something, stressed, whatever it is. That's how I ride. And so if I'm in a situation just like I was right now, okay, everybody sees me, good. Those spots sometimes make me anxious. Sometimes in those situations, I would speed up to be closer to that next vehicle in front of me because they clearly see them, or they'll have a higher chance of seeing them than they will of me. But anyways, yeah, going back to not trusting people, I don't trust anybody. So if in that situation with that, I think that was a Jeep, I think they might have even signaled me to pass. I told them, waved my hand, said, hey, why don't you go through? And I prefer it that way. I'm fine with saving or my ride being 2 seconds longer in waiting for that car to pass instead of me going first. So, all right, I'm slowing down. This car wants to pass. Wave them on through. Checking my mirrors, also making sure no one's coming up fast from behind me. Yeah, be careful in that situation. So, you know how I just slow down fairly quick to let that car pass. But make sure you're not just slowing down and not checking your mirrors, guys. Okay? Don't just go at your brakes because you want to be a good Samaritan, good person, and you're thinking, oh man, I'm going to let this person pass. So let me slam on my brakes. Let me stop. But check your mirrors. Make sure you're not creating more commotion behind you than the commotion that person is experiencing in trying to cross the lane. So, do it with reason. If you're letting people pass or whatever, do it with reason. Make sure you're checking your mirrors, because sometimes you'll see that people they'll drive and then they'll see someone wanting to cross and then they'll slam on their brakes, causing almost a pile up from behind them, all because they want to let this person pass. Oh gosh, man, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Woo, there's a lot of cars. Cars are stacked up here on the northbound lane. All right, see that truck pulling out? I pulled out a little bit to the right just to create more space between me and him. And my exit route was to go even further to the right if he were to continue crossing lanes. I also sped up a little bit just to be more in line with this car, since he has a higher chance of seeing that car than myself, and we're good. No big deal. Yeah, when you ride, really pay attention to all the cars, all the vehicles that are ready to pull out of wherever they're pulling out of. Really watch for tire, wheel movement. Like if you're fixated sometimes, don't over fixate, because you'll lose track of what's going on around you. But if you'll fixate on their tire or their wheel, you can see the ever so slightest movement, like if they're creeping forward. And if they're creeping forward, maybe slow down, be a little bit more cautious, and don't just fly by them. Pay attention, guys, to those cars that are pulling out, so that, there's a lot of accidents that happen from that. Careful. Now, when it comes down to using your turn signals, I don't always use mine. I actually use mine on a very rare occasion. If there's a cop directly behind me, I'll use it just to be nice, just to not, do something in front of him that would give him a reason to pull me over. But I never actually ask to go into a lane or change lanes. I just go when it's safe, when it's appropriate. I just go. There are some drivers out there that would turn on their turn signals and they would almost expect people to just either slow down or do something else to let them in. That's not me. That's not the type of rider or driver that I am. Like, if I'm changing lanes, then that means I have a place to go. Theoretically, I could keep riding and keep talking, keep pointing out stuff, whatever else, but I think I'm going to cut the video here. I think this will be a decent length of a video. So I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have something to say, positive or negative. you can let me know. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.